3-1 it would finish, however. Barcelona back to winning ways against Elche, who have been the best of the promoted sides this season in La Liga. Luis Garcia was watching this game for us. And so let's get word from what we saw in this game from Barcelona as we take a look at where they are in the table right now. Back to within 5 points of Real Madrid, back to second spot as well after 11 games played. This is how things are looking. So, Luis, they are back to winning ways. What did you make of their performance today?
I liked the first 35 minutes, actually. I saw a very intense and good Barcelona, creating chances, arriving, scoring goals, and not giving much to Elche. That is a very, very good team. That there wasn't scared to play against Barcelona. They playing man-to-man everywhere on the field. That's something that we've seen so far in a couple of 3 teams. But you have to be fearless to do that, because you're going to leave spaces at the back. You're going to leave 1v1 situations against Rashford, against Ferran Torres, against Yamal, and then you can pay off. But in the second half, we saw once again the Barcelona that we don't want to see, without control of the game, giving so much to Elche. Actually, we saw Elche that had more possession, something that we haven't seen so far for any team during this league against Barcelona. And that meant that the Barcelona was needed to get that third goal to kind of calm down, to try to get back the control, and we saw a little bit of that. Even though that Elche created another couple of chances, Rafa Mir was really a big threat, playing on the left side, but also appearing to the center, also on the right side. So in the end, a good result. That's the best thing of it. Not a cliche, something that we were expecting, or at least we wanted from the first start of the game. And you get closer to Real Madrid. That's the best take from today's. That doesn't clear much about this high line and this way of Barcelona, but at least you get another 3 points and you can build on confidence for what is coming next.
What's your takeaway, Ale, from today's game?
Shaka, as you know, I'm a glass half full sort of guy.
I always have been.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So I'm going to focus on the first 35 minutes that Luis is talking about, and I'm not going to even mention the inefficiency and the ineptitude in the attack in the second half. We're going to leave that
Don't
to the
mention
side.
it.
No,
Wherever you do,
we're not going to mention it. No. The sloppiness of the second half.
Don't mention it.
We don't need to
Won't
mention
be
it at all.
mentioned.
The first 35 minutes. Encouraging in the sense that, well, yeah, there is no Pedri, and as depressing as that is to me, as my son is off the field, I can tell you that Fermín López takes on the responsibility and was active in the attack, and Barcelona was pressing higher of the field. And it also helped that Elche is losing the ball in bad areas, but you have to be there in order to take advantage of those opportunities. And Lamine Yamal, whether he went to Milan, whether he was rested or not, whether he's playing through pain or not, scores a goal, and you're thinking, okay, it feels like Barcelona is not really missing Lewandowski. It's not really missing Pedri, at least not in this first 35 minutes. Again, Fermín López involved in the attack. Frenkie de Jong was controlling the midfield. Casado was very much in control of the rhythm of the game. Ferran Torres is scoring goals. And it's all great for Barcelona. And so if you just focus on the first 35 minutes, you kind of go, yeah, it's all right. This is okay. Against most teams in La Liga, they're going to be able to win games if they play as well as they did in the first 35 minutes. Again, I'm going to ignore the second half. I'm going to ignore some of the bad habits that this team tends to have and tends to show. And I'm going to ignore the vulnerabilities defensively that are still there. I leave that to you, Shaka. You are the source of negativity here.
Okay, Shaka, I won't make you be too negative. I want to get your take on who should be responsible for looking after Lamine Yamal right now. Ahead of the game, we were talking about the fact that, in case you missed it, he went to Milan on his days off. Yeah, he went and had a little bit of time in the city there, saw how things were. He's got a chronic groin injury. He's got something that's going to continue to bother him, and this talking about him playing through pain, and they're talking about his agent having to get involved and that he's only 18. Whose responsibility is this to be giving him the advice?
I think it's the clubs. The club have to take a greater responsibility, and Lamine Yamal, all things off the park. In much of a way that Hansi Flick has to do it on the park. The agent is hired by Lamine Yamal. He's employed by Lamine Yamal. And if Lamine insists on doing one thing or the other, the agent can offer his advice, but can't really stop him. Now, for me, that's where the club has to step in, kind of understanding, and let's be honest, kind of given Barcelona's record of bringing through young players from the academy and understanding what it takes to make that jump, even when you're as talented as Lamine Yamal, I'm surprised that they didn't step in sooner, that they haven't kind of taken that responsibility on themselves in terms of guiding Lamine Yamal, the decisions he makes, some of the things he does and says, some of his appearances, which we've been talking about certainly for the last couple of weeks.
Right.
Okay.
And she just described it as a chronic groin injury. Dr. Murray Bonetti. All right. Well, if that is the case, then shouldn't you be taking care of this injury instead of gallivanting in Milan?
Well, personally speaking,
Put yourself aside.
a good old Gallivant does wonders for my groin injuries.
I'm asking the wrong person.
And you know
I've never
what?
said no to a good Gallivant.
I'm not going to ask Luis Garcia because he's sick of our shenanigans asking about these young teenagers and the youngsters in La Liga. What I will talk to you about is a man who celebrated his 28th birthday this week in Marcus Rashford, Luis. Hansi Flick's definitely getting the best out of this player. It was definitely not Shaka.
Yeah, definitely. They have to be happy with what Marcus Rashford has bringing to the team, because no one was expecting something like this. Definitely not me. It was a player who struggled in the last few years to get back to his best, and we found out, thanks also to Rafinha's injury, that Marcus Rashford have a lot to give to Barcelona. His speed, his ability to go on 1v1 situation, his fine way to encounter with the goal, to be linked to the goal. He's a player who is bringing something that Barcelona was missing when you got two wide players who can give you that, beating players, creating opportunities, linking very well. He's also a player who is one of the top assistants in La Liga. It's something that we were not expecting. I'm sure that Hansi Flick is really, really happy with his performances, how he delivers, and also because he's also working hard on that left side, something that is really needed when you are talking about pressing in the last third of the field.
This is a dream scenario for Marcus Rashford. You never wish anyone to get injured as a player. You never wish any of your fellow players to get injured, but you ask for a chance at a club as big as Barcelona, and that chance comes to you and you're able to deliver, Ale.
Well, just think about where Marcus Rashford was this time last year and where his career was going this time last year. And look, I'm sure that Marcus Rashford, when he was in Manchester United, wasn't thinking, you know what I want to do with my life? Aston Villa, this is it. This is where I'm going. Now, this is no disrespect to Aston Villa, but I'm going to suggest that it's not where he saw the trajectory of his career. And I also am certain that he didn't see that from Aston Villa, somehow there was going to be a path to Barcelona. I have mentioned in the past that I think this is the last go around for Marcus Rashford in terms of opportunities at the big time. And it really comes down to him and what he can give this team that is different than what they already have. And to Luis's point, he's doing exactly that. The goal he scores today, the ability to essentially, in a very tight area, able to create enough separation because of the change of pace that he has to then score goals on his own, that means that Barcelona doesn't have to put 50 passes together to create a chance for him. You just change the point of attack, and he himself, because of his skill set, can create an opportunity for himself. And if he is crowded, if he is double teamed, then he can find a pass. Marcus Rashford has been better than expected. He actually has been excellent.
Yeah, happy birthday, Marcus. Even Ali's got something nice to say today.
Wait a minute. I said I was positive.
More La Liga coming up for you
That's
on
half full,
Monday.
Ali.
Rounding out the match day, Real Oviedo against Osasuna, and then Friday it all kicks off again for another round. And we'll be able to see Rayo take on Real Madrid and Celta take on Barcelona.